Okay, cool.
Okay, so today we're going to be talking about drugs. All right, guys, welcome back to episode 18 now of TalkRandom podcast. Probably, as you would have seen now, well, actually, if you're from the future, kind of, like if you're not watching this as it's happening, if you know what I mean, you probably haven't noticed so much, but we've changed channels because YouTube was being not so
Bad
kind.
person. Yes.
Yeah. And yeah, so we had to change channels because it wasn't letting people subscribe to us for some reason. So we had to transition all the videos. What a pain it was, but it's okay.
Yeah.
It's all sorted out now. So hopefully it'll be okay from now on. Talking of subscribe, don't forget to do so and to like and share, of course.
Obviously.
Kasim, if you want to talk a bit, if you want to introduce.
Well,
Yeah.
you kind of covered it all basically. Yeah, just we're glad always to be back. We're always like trying to be here for you guys, even though some people or organizations don't want us to. Yeah, we'll still be here, I guess, and still do our very best. You don't like it, Rafa, when I did the very best?
I completely forgot that we were filming and I just took a bite of my sandwich. Sorry.
Yeah, Rafa, we're recording. All right.
Okay,
But yeah.
and today, as you can see, also was joined by a very special guest. If you want to introduce yourself.
Hi there. I'm Commodore, and yeah, they invited me to guest over here, so why not? I guess.
Nice.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you like? What do you do?
No, I work. I play games as well. I play a lot of simulation games and VR, and every once in a while I go on Omegle as well. Record my own content there by just talking to random strangers about random things.
It's kind of interesting. It's kind of like what this is all about, right? Talk random podcast.
Yeah, it is random, very random actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
We just find some random guests and we bring them on. In fact, a lot of the time we don't even know who's going to show up.
That is correct.
You know, it's interesting. I saw a video the other day. Okay, we'll get on to the main topic of. We'll get onto it in a second. But I saw a video the other day about like creating a YouTube channel, whatever. And the guy was talking about this famous Twitch streamer, and how I don't know if you know this, but he kind of just like reviews videos and there's like reaction videos and stuff like that. And he has like a door at the back of the room that is always appearing on the Twitch. And he just leaves that open. So like if you find out where he lives, you can kind of just show up and go inside, you know? And so often in his videos, you'll have like random people walk in, which like keeps the audience on their toes. I'm just gonna make my microphone louder. Is that good?
A little bit lower, yeah.
A little bit louder.
Lower. Just a little bit, yeah. Yeah, that's
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so you'll have, I don't know, like, for example, Jake Paul would just walk in at any moment and they'll have, like, interaction, start, conversing. And I thought that was really interesting, and I thought we could do something like that with the podcast, where kind of you just, like, leave the Zoom link open, and then any random person could join.
That is
Obviously, you have,
interesting.
like, a limit of, like, one person could join, and then you have, like, everybody and it picks, like, a random person to join. I thought that would be a very interesting concept.
That is an interesting concept that we can definitely.
There's like a bigger audience.
Yeah, we can definitely try that out. Actually, that'll be pretty interesting and very make us interact more with our audience. If you guys want that, definitely like get some more people going up in the channel. We can maybe do that and we can interact.
Okay, so today we're going to be talking about drugs. So why don't we just start off with a basic opinion in general? If you could exterminate all drugs, not like medical drugs, just like, let's start with hallucinogenics then. If you could exterminate all of those from the earth, would you? Yes or no? Just a basic question to see where you're at with this topic.
Exterminating it will be quite tough, but if all of it will be exterminated, yeah, I got a few reservations about that, because these drugs were developed first for medical purposes until people started abusing it.
Yeah.
Right. So I would say no, because they still have their uses, but it has to be regulated and really have to be regulated.
Okay, yeah. What if, let me change the question a little bit, because I think you have a good point about medical use. What
Mhm.
if you could eliminate, like with magic, eliminate all use of drugs that aren't for medical purposes?
Then I would say
Or
yeah.
aren't you?
So like you wouldn't even be able to like use weed
No,
or anything for enjoyment. Would you do
no,
that?
not for recreation. No,
You think people shouldn't be allowed drugs for recreational purposes?
no, not at all. Well,
Really?
yeah, no, not at all. Because you see, weed, for example, um, it's not. It should be considered as sort of like tobacco or something. You know,
Hmm.
it shouldn't be considered as drugs. I mean, if you look at the history about it, it was because of racism that makes it illegal, right?
How so?
It started with the United States um, tagging the marijuana as illegal simply because the Mexican used to smoke it,
Yeah.
and they need someone to blame for the crimes and something like that, and they see the Mexicans. But how can the Americans blame the Mexicans for their bad behaviors, and they tag the marijuana? And then
Hmm.
the CIA started banning that drug. So
Yeah.
I guess when we say that, so we cannot use marijuana, but it shouldn't be considered drugs to begin with. When we say drugs, I'm thinking of a more extreme stuff such as cocaine or a meth. Then if
Hmm.
we can ban if we can ban the recreational use of those drugs instantly, like magically, in just a snap, then I do it.
What about
Yeah.
for marijuana? Would you do it?
Hmm. And I'd say no.
You would say no.
I'd say no.
Okay.
So here's the thing: before I snap that, I'd say that weed shouldn't be considered as illegal drugs. Then that's the time where I'll magically snap and stop all the legal
Hmm.
drugs.
They
Yeah.
have become legal, right? So recently, like a lot of like around the world, they have people are starting to like really just take a wider look into like how weed like really works and like really just starting to accept how it works and allowing it for people, right? Like are there states in America that are now allowing it? Other countries like Canada, I think.
Yeah, I think all of
Mhm.
Canada is legal, right?
Yeah, I think so.
It depends on the states. That at least that's what I heard. But here in the
Yeah,
Philippines,
yeah.
they completely ban it. Like if they caught you with a weed or something like that, like regardless, it will be that's the thing here in the Philippines, because they don't have any classifications of drugs at all.
Oh,
They
really?
only have, yeah, they only have a classification in terms of amount, but in terms of what they caught you, like you will be punished as if, for example, if you're selling weed, they caught you selling off weed, you will have the same punishment as if you're selling meth or coke.
What about for like if you're the one using it?
If you're the one using it, then it depends. Depending on how much the amount they caught you with,
I know
then
what it
that's
is.
where, yeah. So if,
Really?
for example, if you've been caught more than 5 grams, they will tag you as a drug pusher, even though that 5 grams is, just for your consumption.
Hmm.
That's really
Oh,
interesting because
so
in the UK they classify the drugs with like A to D or something like that, uh, and then depending on like how severe it is, you get more severe punishment for both if
Yeah.
you're the one using it or selling.
Mhm. And I guess Philippines has been making rounds in the international news regarding our war on drugs with the current administration. So basically, if you've been caught on drugs, instantly you'll be killed without due process at all. So it's very dangerous right here.
damn. Huh. So like before we came to this direction, we were talking more so about uses. Isn't there like the thing where you can be arrested for possession of it, but like after you've used it and you're under effect of it, like can things still happen to you? Like even if you're like under effect, but you don't have anything on you, like you've consumed it as well. Can you get jail time or any punishment for that?
Here in the Philippines, you're asking?
Well, in general, I guess, just a curiosity of mine.
I'm not sure for the other places, but here in the Philippines, yes, you'll still be as a for a drug user. I think the minimum jail time that you'll get is 6 months, 6 months in prison if you've been caught using.
And that's minimum as well. Wow.
Yeah,
Because like I think in most places it doesn't. If you're not actually caught with it, like if you've already used it, then you don't get any punishment. And I think that's very strange as well.
Yeah, I was, yeah.
Yeah, because I was
exactly.
seeing like you have documentaries of people using it, and kind of they don't really care because they're already on the thing. They don't actually possess it anymore, and it's so strange.
Yeah.
The only problem would be if you like did it and drove or something.
Yeah.
Of course. Also, just really quickly, because don't forget to put speaker view on.
Yeah, I'm alternating.
Okay.
If you've been acting strangely, then the police can go over you, and then if they suspect that you are under influence, they will invite you to the police station and perform a drug test. And as soon as they get the result, right there and there, you'll be going jail.
Wow.
Approved. Strange, right?
Yeah, that's very strict.
Yeah. See, laws in different places is quite interesting.
Yeah, and I think it's also interesting you were saying that drugs are just illegal because of racism. And I think there's definitely something more to it than just like because it's bad for you. Because I mean, otherwise they would have to also ban alcohol and tobacco, for example. At the same time, I think it's interesting that they don't already legalize it, because that's the only reason they don't make it illegal to sell. Like alcohol, for example, is because firstly it will be very difficult for people to change, but more so because a lot of government taxes come from that, especially in like
I was gonna say economy.
It taxes like that's why for example, some countries such as Angola, alcohol is very, very cheap just because the government doesn't tax it that much. But in the UK, it's like very expensive. A lot of government revenue comes from those taxes, and so if they legalized it, made it illegal, they would lose a lot of money on that.
Yeah, there's definitely a point that could definitely like shift the opinions and of point of views for like if they really can accept certain types of like government interaction with like tobacco, alcohol, and obviously weed and other stuff. Yeah, definitely. Definitely very interesting. But like, you know how they like I was thinking about it like because most of my opinions usually come from like what I watch, right? And stuff I hear mostly about the US. Is there like any like drug wars or like cartels and stuff like that in the Philippines?
Yeah, they do, actually. And here's the thing. Recently, a lot of the from the Chinese mafia and from the Hong Kong and something like that, they sell their stuff here in the Philippines simply because our laws with what do you call this? But for foreigners, for example, if they've been caught or something like that, their countries can request like their prisoners to be sent to their own country. And another thing is that we don't have death penalty for those who got caught. So you can, if you've been caught large amount of drugs, you can spend let's say a maximum of 30 years in prison.
30 or 3?
Right? 30.
30.
Oh my days, that's a lot of years.
Prison. Yeah. Let's say, for example, you've been caught like for 1 kilogram of weed, then instantly you'll be spending 30 years in jail. That's 1 kilogram.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
On that, like 30 years you spend in jail, is that like a life sentence?
That's a life sentence, yes.
Yeah. That's the other thing I wanted to mention when you mentioned that. The fact that life sentence is only 30 years is very strange to me as well, in some countries.
Well, I was gonna say, why would it be really strange? Because like 30 years is basically like depending like after, because obviously the 30 years count more so after you're 18, because 18 you then go to before 18 juvenile or whatever. It's like 18, that's like what you turn 50, maybe 60. around that, and that's basically your life kind of gone. So I kind of like can see why it is, but like, after that age, there's not really much you can really
Okay, but like,
experience.
for example, I was reading this. I don't remember if I watched it or read it about this serial killer. And what he did is that he was watching, like, stalking this. He used to do this like frequently. And he was like stalking his next prey. Sorry, I feel bad saying that, but it was like this little kid. Until eventually he like captured him, ate him. I don't know if he was alive or what, but ate the kid like
Yeah.
as food.
Oh,
Or maybe it was a girl. Sorry, I don't remember the details. And then he wrote a letter describing how delicious it was, and sent it to the kid's mother.
Oh my god.
That's
If that was in the
nice.
UK, he would have spent
Mhm.
30 years in jail, and would have come back out to the world, into society.
That's basically a murder right there. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. And I think it's strange you can't put that guy in jail for the rest of his life. It's like life sentence isn't actually for the rest of his life. It just feels weird to let someone like that out of jail, you know?
Yeah. But then if he hunts his victims like that, then, should it be considered for some psychological evaluation? Like, you cannot put that dude in jail if he's basically has a mental illnesses.
Well, I suppose he would just go to like
That's
the
actually it's
mental
interesting.
So that 30
hospital
years
or-
can be contested as well.
Yeah,
That is
I suppose.
actually because yeah, I suppose you guys are right. Like, what about it? Like, if somebody does have a illness of some sorts that can cause them to make irrational decisions, and then they somehow eventually end up committing a crime, wow, so they wouldn't get charged like a normal person in a way, right?
I just don't think. I think they would not go to jail. They'd probably go to like a mental ward, something like that.
Yeah, like that.
But still can be
Then-
considered as a punishment for them, right?
I think they would just spend like the rest of their lives in the mental
Yeah.
ward, and then they would have to like pass the psychological evaluation. So it wouldn't be anymore because they committed the felony. Because like even after the time has passed of their serving, they're just not mentally fit to be back in society.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think there should be like a test or something that you do every, I don't know, 10 years to see if you're mentally fit to be in society, you know?
Oof. Imagine you get rejected, they kick you out, put you somewhere.
Yeah, imagine that if you get rejected, then But the thing is, in today's society, the cancel culture has been very effective. So imagine if you've been canceled by that, it will be tagged as some sort of discrimination. So a lot of people will be against it.
Yeah, opinions these days are very strong and valuable these days actually. Definitely.
I think I wouldn't say valuable, because I think a lot of them are stupid to say.
Okay.
But they do have more impact than they did before. It's like,
Yeah, that's okay. I can see. Maybe I used the wrong word. Maybe not valuable, but more so impactful. There you
like
go.
when you say valuable to me, that's like they have a meaningful place in
Nah,
our
no.
society.
I mean impactful. I meant
Yeah.
impactful. Yeah, they
Impact
they
wasn't-
can
yeah.
they can raise enough voices
Yeah,
in order to
exactly,
like have an impact. Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, sorry.
For example, like take the flat Earth movement, or yeah, basically stuff like that. It's not exactly valuable, but it's still far more impactful than it would have been without like social media, for example, supporting it, right?
Yeah.
Without that ability to grow a community around it. Talking on flat, that's a whole episode. Just like
Yeah.
stupid conspiracy theories.
I don't know why people would believe that.
Yeah, I actually really don't. I just don't see it happening. It doesn't physically make sense.
Yeah, there's some funny stories out there about that stuff, like rejecting common science.
Bro.
There's a theory that like people in the government are actually lizard people.
Oh my
Have you heard
god,
about
no, bro. I saw that on it was like a Netflix show, like kind of like animated source.
Mhm.
I don't know what it was, but it was like yeah, they touched on that, but I know it was just for like jokes, to make people laugh and so. But yeah,
But it's hard to believe that there's like actual people out there. I think I already said this on an episode, but I found out and I was like bamboozled by the fact that there are orangutans smarter than people. Like smarter than like some people, not the average person, but
Oh,
some
okay.
people.
Yeah.
It's not like there's some like random orangutans that are smarter. It's just there's some people that are so dumb,
Yeah.
even the orangutan is smarter.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's crazy. Like if you took that person out of society, or like you swapped their brain with an orangutan's brain, they would be smarter than they were
Yeah.
before.
Okay. Now
That's
here's the. Okay. Here's the question.
crazy.
Listen here. Here's the thing. If you switch somebody's brain, are you just switching like them and putting them in a different body, or giving them a different mind?
Hmm.
I think
See,
that would
because
depend whether you believe in like if you have a soul,
Yeah.
or not.
Or
look,
depends.
yeah.
Yeah. But here's the thing. It really depends. Where does personality stored in our body? Is it on the brain? Because there's some articles that I've read before that somebody had a heart transplant, right? Then
Mhm.
instantly that person had a different personality and different let's say morals and values in terms of decision making.
Hmm. Well, that could easily be like not a controlled variable, as like the simple experience of having a heart transplant can be very traumatizing and impactful again, because that you have to take that into consideration. But I definitely feel like there's something there that can be investigated thoroughly, and like something can be found within that research. I feel as.
Mhm. Well,
I
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I think it's in your brain, your personality. Um, because I would say like your personality is created by your memories
Imaginary,
or
yeah.
experiences you have. For example, Kasim was saying a heart transplant is a traumatic experience, and because of that experience, that changes your personality. So, like
Yeah.
for me, personalities are composed of your experiences, memories, and for what I know, experiences, memories, like are stored in the brain. So that's also where the personality would be.
Totally agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like
Yeah.
that. I'd like that. That's for sure. Huh.
Yeah.
Though the thing with the human brains or how the brain functions is that with all the advancement in the medical science field, there's only a few percentage of the science knows about how the brain works. And the funny thing is that with that few knowledge that they have, psychologists charge very large amount of money. I'm not sure how does the how much a like a mental health consultation fee costs and where you guys, but over here it's very expensive, so that's why not everyone puts so much focus onto it.
You know,
Yeah.
that's an interesting topic actually. Like the pricing of psychiatrists and like psychology, like therapy
And
sessions. Like,
therapists in general. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I just don't understand. Like, I understand the value of them. Like, how can they be useful? But the pricing stuff, like what I've heard from, is just unbelievable. Like, genuinely unbelievable how much they can charge you for that.
Yeah.
And
For
I feel like you don't get that
yeah.
much out of that pricing as well. But yeah, go.
Just to get an idea, a regular person who earns minimum wage has to work 1 week or sometimes even 6 days. They have to work 6 days full time just to get a 1 hour consultation fee with a psychologist or with a
Yeah,
psychiatrist. That's insane.
yeah, that is. It's
I think the price is that high because they're usually, if you take like a therapist, I'm not sure, so don't quote me on this, but I think usually they're like capitalist ventures, right? Like venture capitalists. They're not backed by any corporation or like they're not part of a firm, but they built their own business.
Yeah.
And so they've got to charge. I'm not surprised they charge more, you know? They're not some massive corporate industry. They're just one lone person that has to make a living from this. And they build up their name, you know?
Yeah.
And that's why some charge more than others, depending on how famous they are and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just feel like it was kind of like what you were saying, Commodore. how some people like have to work basically almost like you said, like a week for just to be able to pay for a session, while as obviously people that have more money, they barely have to do anything. And this kind of like shows how this what's it called, this service is not easily not fairly spread out and accessible to everybody to make use of the service, especially the people that actually need it more. Because obviously I'd say the
Mhm.
people that work more, experience more happenings and thoughts and stuff like that, that could definitely be used or be helped with a psychiatrist, whereas somebody that doesn't do too much doesn't really need it as much, as I feel like it's not evenly distributed.
But I mean, you do have like public ones you can go to, depending
Mm.
on where you live.
Yeah.
Also, some lines of work provide
Yeah.
provide therapists you can go to. I think the embassy provides one
Yeah,
if you need it.
but the usual HMO from work that we get here in the Philippines, they don't include like psychology therapies or something like that as part of
Really?
your benefits. Yeah. And on me personally, I got fired for that because I organized a workers union in my office protesting that psychological services should be included on the HMO. Apparently, the company didn't like that because corporations doesn't like the idea of additional expenses for the benefits.
Yeah.
So they
Mm.
found a way to to basically just fire me and something like that. But regards to of the accessibility of the psychological services, I would say that a a socioeconomic factor plays a huge part as well
Yeah.
on its accessibility, because basically on third world countries where everybody just works in order to survive, they don't have time to basically think of their mental being and something like that. They work so hard,
Even their
and then
physical
when they
being.
get yeah, they work so hard, and then when they get home, they just take time to rest. They don't even have that time to think about their own personal being or their mental status or something like that. So, which makes these services, let's say, only few or in lesser demands. So that's why there's this thing about
That's interesting.
the law of supply and demand in economics, right? So basically, psychological services, at least I can speak here in the Philippines, that not everyone needs it. So that's why there's only a few clinics, and if even if it's rare, right, they will charge more because not everyone's, there's no competition, I would say.
Yeah, even basically research on the economics, it just made me think of how the corporation you talked about just doesn't believe in marginal cost equals to marginal benefit. You see, I'm learning that stuff. Yeah, but yeah, it's just interesting to see how like behind all of this everything works, like this certain topic, and I'm sure it can apply to like a whole bunch of other services, like definitely.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I
so
think
is it
yeah, I think I remember seeing your dog when we first talked.
all right? All right. We're going to no, come on. We're going to record. Okay, just sit there.
And I thought it was a raccoon because I only saw the ears.
There. Go, go.
Oh, the computer's dying.
Why, your battery or?
Nah, it's just the light hitting the computer is making it really hot.
All right, let's roll.
Wait, is it just me hearing that?
Yeah, can hear you guys.
Wait, there's some random noise.
I can't hear anything.
Is that just me? Is it just me hearing that?
Yeah.
What the heck is that, bro? What is this?
Is it on me? I'll go on mute.
No, it's not you. It was just a TOK whole video was so loud. Oh my god, that was scary. I was like, bro, am I going crazy?
Might want to check your browser if there's anything playing on the background.
Yeah, I already. It's just I have like 100 tabs, so it's like kind of takes some time to see it all. But yeah, I already paused it.
Okay, we
Right,
good?
Yeah, we good.
All right, so I want to save this topic for this episode because I think it's like a whole episode in itself. But talking about like conspiracy theories.
Mm-hmm. No,
since we touched on that last episode.
I just want to talk about as well something, because the beauty about it is that we came from the different parts of the continent, and I was just going to tackle more about the topic earlier regarding the psychological and happiness, basically. Like, is it safe to assume that the stronger the economy of a certain country, the lesser or the less happy the people are?
I think there's a U-shaped graph there. No. Yes, like an upside down U, where when the economy is super weak, you have people super sad. But then as the economy grows, people get happier and happier until a certain point, and then it starts declining again. If you have like economic level at the bottom and happiness on the y-axis, you would have like a U like this, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. So at certain point, yeah.
What the hell? No, let her join. The open door process is working.
Yeah, bro. The open door process, bro.
Never know who's gonna join.
Bro, I knew I should. Okay. Hi, Nara.
So how did she find out we were recording, Kasim?
No, my link. Everybody has my link. I literally told you, bro. I always see this. Yeah, she wanted to join.
What's up? How are you guys? Hi, nice to meet you.
Hi.
Okay. We're recording, by the way, Nada. So
How are you?